Hello, Happiness Abounder, and welcome back. Today, I want to share with you an idea that I believe is holding many of us back from taking the next steps in our happiness journey. And that's this belief that we have to overhaul our life to be happy. So let me know if this sounds familiar. You went to school, you got the degree, which then led to the job, which hopefully led to a little bit more money, which led to getting married, having this wonderful spouse, the family, buying the dream house or a house, buying the beautiful car, and now you're working towards the corner office or the successful entrepreneurial journey. Now, whether you've reached the top of that checklist or you're somewhere in the middle, I'm willing to bet that at some point you've looked around and gone, I just want to be happy. And I'm working so hard towards all of these things. And I'm just not happy. The next obvious step would be, let's look at our happiness. But that's where this belief that we secretly all have about this fear of overhauling our life to be happy comes into play. Because not only as society have we pushed this idea of the societal checklist, and if you meet all these points, you'll be successful. And in our minds, somehow success is equal to happiness. That is not the case. Happiness can equal success, but not the other way around. But we've bought that lie. But also, as a society, we have embraced and in fact romanticized this idea that to be happy, we have to throw away everything we've worked really hard for. We have to throw our life completely away. And that's everywhere. Where do you see it? You see it on TED Talks, you see it in articles, you see it in books, in movies, and this is nothing on the book or the movie of Eat, Pray, Love, but that's the idea, right? You're not happy, you don't know what to do, so you're gonna have to leave your partner, you're gonna have to go travel the world for a year, figure out what makes you happy, and then figure out how to implement that back into a normal life that you're now starting from scratch. I'm sorry, nobody wants to really do that. And so what happens is that we stop. We go, I'm not happy, but I guess this is what it is. Because I'm not willing to throw away everything I've worked so hard for so long for. And I want to tell you that that belief is a freaking lie. You do not have to overhaul your life to be happy. And in fact, I don't recommend it. Well, that may work for some. And again, we see that a lot. We don't see the stories about the person who made small incremental changes that built up their happiness habits and now has a happy life, because that doesn't have any of the drama. Sorry, but it doesn't. So we've romanticized, we've embraced as a culture, as a society, that to be happy, we have to trash everything else in our life, get a divorce because obviously it's the spouse's problem, and get a job that doesn't do anything for you because obviously it was that corporate job that was the problem, and throw away all the things you've worked so hard for, the life that you have built, because that's the problem and that's why you're not happy. That is not true. Your happiness can be a learned skill. And the idea here is that if you take small incremental steps to build your happiness habits, it will slowly get you to a place where you can look around and go, I feel happy. And then you can look at all those components in your life with a clear view, without the drama, and say, I'm actually happy as a person. What in my life is not supporting that further? And then you can make those choices and those decisions. But to be happy, it does not mean that you have to throw it all away. Because I don't want to do that. I don't want to throw away everything I've worked so hard for. And it's not my spouse's fault, it's not my family's fault, it's not my job's fault that I bought into the lie and didn't step back and look at my happiness in time. Instead, I can look at what helps me be happy every single day. I can build those small habits without overthrowing everything I've built. And then I can look at where I need to make changes with a clear view and a clear lens of my life. Because happiness is this formula of identity plus vision plus mindset plus leadership equaling happiness. So when you know who you are, your identity, and you've built up the happiness habits in your life, Then you can create a vision for your life. And at that point, you can look at your mindsets and go, okay, what is supporting this? What is not? What changes need to be made? And then you can lead your life in a way that supports that vision and supports the identity and supports the mindsets and beliefs that you want to have. And that equals happiness. And that's something that's built up every day, not this big, let's just paint over my whole life and then hope that the next version is going to make me happy. And I get fired up about this because I think that it's BS. I wish that we hadn't bought into that lie. And I know for me personally, I did. When I looked around at my life and I said, man, I really just want to be happy. I was scared. So scared. Because I thought that that meant I would have to throw everything away. I thought that meant that I'd have to lose my friends, that I'd have to get a divorce, that I'd have to quit my job. I'd have to do all of these things and somehow find the money to go and take a trip around the world to reinvent and find myself. And that would make me happy. And that was scary. So scary. But I believed it. So I didn't take the steps towards my happiness for a long time, because I believed I had to overhaul my life to be happy. And it wasn't until I realized that happiness could be a learned skill that could be built up in small daily actions every day. And those are simple things like tracking your successes every day, building positive evidence in your brain that you can do the things that you say you're going to do. Things like figuring out how to constructively and positively express your emotions, so that you can get them out of you and you can think more mentally and emotionally clear. Inputs, watching what you're putting into your life. And that meaning like music, books, TV, all of those things. Are they contributing to your dissatisfaction and your unhappiness, or are they contributing to it? Figuring out those small things in your life, what those habits are the first steps to building a life of happiness abound. And when you have that space, then you can look back at all those other big pieces and make the hard decisions. And in most cases, you don't have to, because by then all the little things that you've put into place, all the happiness habits, have transformed your life to one where happiness is everywhere. And there's no need to make those big choices and changes, because you've worked hard for that life and now you've worked hard for your happiness, and they come together. They work together. So if you are like I was, or you are falling into this trap of, I really want to be happy, Taylor. I do, but I don't want to have to upheaval my whole world. I don't want to have to throw away everything I've built. I want you to take a second and take a breath and realize that that is not the case. Happiness is built in your daily happiness habits. Truly. And I just wanted to share that today because I'm fired up about it. I'm so sick of seeing this idea of throwing your whole life away completely romanticized by society and holding people back from taking the small steps towards their happiness. Because it is the small things you do every single day, your happiness habits, that make the biggest difference. You don't have to overthrow and overhaul your entire life to feel happy. It can start with a few small steps. And if you've been scared, I want you to know it actually is that easy. It doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be a huge upheaval. And it doesn't mean the end of your life as you know it. But it means the beginning of a new chapter of that life that embraces who you are and what you've built with who you are and what helps you feel happy. So I'm going to leave you with that today. Sorry if it got a little bit preachy, but also sorry, not sorry, because I feel like this is something we all need to hear and be reminded of. And truthfully, it's anytime you take a next step. Anytime that you're like, I want something, there's going to be a fear that holds you back, that makes you feel like, well, my whole life is going to be completely different, and I don't know if I can handle that. You can handle it. And you can take those first few steps, because guess what? There's not a lot to handle when it's a few little things that you can do, that you can control every single day. And again, those things built up every day incrementally change your life in the most positive way without a complete overhaul to be happy. So I hope this episode resonated with you. If it did, please leave a review or share with someone you think may need it. Let's spread the happiness abound and let's embrace new people in our community as we share what we're doing to be happier. And I'd also like to invite you to join the Happiness Abounders Facebook group where I'm starting to share these ideas and these concepts more regularly. And so you can tune into those happiness habits much more than just once a week here on the podcast. So that said, I hope that you can remember you don't have to overhaul or have a great big upheaval of your life to feel happy. You can start with the small happiness habits today. So that said, have a wonderful day. And remember, you are capable of happiness abound.